Came from United Kingdom, London, and I happened to be here because of MS. Once I tried to run for the bus, and then I did run, but then when I stopped running, I was feeling really sharp pain. The type of lesions that was spoken about is, then I was definitely diagnosed a few months ago that, yeah, you've got MS. I was told to do physiotherapy. Physiotherapy didn't really, I didn't feel much change, I didn't feel any different. So I went online and then I found out about Swiss Medica. My cousin went to Serbia. He'd done some treatment, but now my cousin is doing marathons, he's running. And I thought, wow. And then I contacted the agent that I was speaking to in 2019. And yeah, that's when I decided to make the appointment. What I'm looking forward to, what I'm praying for, is to have the mobility back. So to use my own legs to walk and buy something rather than shopping online, yeah.
So good afternoon. We are very happy to see you here. Would you please let everyone know where you come from and which health condition brought you to our clinic?
Came from United Kingdom, London, and I happened to be here because of MS, multiple sclerosis. I can't pronounce it, but MS.
When were you diagnosed, and before that, when you started feeling the first symptoms?
I think initially I heard about MS in 2015, where the doctor was telling me, yeah, we need to do an MRI. After the MRI, I was told, yeah, you got lesions. And the first time I heard about lesions, I was in church, where the pastor was saying there was lesions and Jesus or God casted the lesions into the pigs went into the river, they drowned. So I got back home and I told my mum, they said I've got lesions, and then I was told to fast and pray. But I never knew it was a different type of lesions. I said, no, I don't have evil spirit. I'm a good person. I fast and I prayed. I'm not devilish. I don't have any evil lesions in me. But later on, when once I tried to run for the bus, and then I did run, but then when I stopped running, I was feeling really sharp pain. So the bus driver, lovely lady, she stopped the bus. She didn't, I thought she was just going to move on, but she stopped. And then when I finally got to the door, she was smiling and nodding her head. I got on the bus, and then she told me, I'm not going to move until you sit down. And I thought that was really helpful because I didn't have to tell her I'm in pain. But then she was really helpful and understanding. So the lady waited for me to sit down, and then she started driving the bus. And then I went back to do more MRI, and that's when I found out, yeah, the type of lesions that was spoken about is, then I was definitely diagnosed a few months ago that, yeah, you've got MS. So in 2015, they said, oh, maybe yes, maybe no. But then it was definitely this year, 2025. So yeah, it was this year.
What kind of therapy were you offered from the side of the doctors?
I was told to do physiotherapy. So physiotherapy didn't really, I didn't feel much change, I didn't feel any different. And then I joined some groups on social media. I'm seeing people talk about baclofen. I asked my doctor for baclofen, and I used it for like 1 week, baclofen. I'll do a customer service job, so I'm sitting in front of customer, and literally it's making me doze off. I'm sleeping. I'm sitting in front of a customer and I'm literally like sleeping, and the lady just sat there, put her hands on her chin, and then she said, sister, try to sleep earlier and don't try this with other customers because you're sleeping in front of me. And I felt so bad. I felt, oh my gosh, like what if she makes a formal complaint or she speaks to the managers and then I'll get like a disciplinary. But then she smiled and she just said, sister, you need to stop. Sleep earlier and maybe drink green tea and coffee. And I thought, okay, thank you. And I went back to my doctor. I looked on the social media again. I'm seeing people talk about fampridine. I spoke to my doctor, maybe Fampria, it will help me, will give me energy and it will help me walk faster, because it started affecting my mobility, where before I used to spend £24 per week on bus pass, and then I started getting a cab to work, £15, getting a cab back home, £10, £15. In 1 month, I'm spending £600 a month just to take the cab to take me to work. And I'm thinking, oh, what nonsense is this? Just to get to work. Other colleagues were saying, oh, you can just sit at home and claim benefits. You don't have to come to the branch, come to the office. And I thought, no, I've been working since I was 16. It's not in my, no, it's okay. I'm not going to sit at home and claim benefits. So I spoke to my doctor. I started using fampridine. And then I went online, started Googling what I can do to repair the myelin sheath, because then doctor says, yeah, your brain is sending signals to the rest of your body, but your myelin sheath, it seems to be damaged and is wearing away, so the brain is not sending the message to the rest of the body. So I went online, and then that's when I found out about the second time, I found out about Swiss Medica, because initially I hit my knee at work. I turned around really fast, hit my knee on the locker at work. I didn't report it because it didn't bleed, it didn't swell. A few weeks later, I'm limping, I'm walking and I'm dragging my right knee. I'm dragging my leg on the floor. So in 2019, I spoke to someone from Swiss Medica, but it wasn't until this year where, whilst I was helping a customer, and the customer saw me with the walker, the Zimmer frame walker. And he was like, oh my gosh, you're so young. You're too young. Why are you using a walker? What happened to you? And I thought, and the walker had, the customer had a electric scooter. So I thought, okay, well, my life has become an open book. I told the customer what happened, what I've been diagnosed with, and then he said, oh no, you'll be fine. My cousin was diagnosed with the same thing, and then my cousin went to Serbia. He'd done some treatments, and now he changed his diet a little bit to vegetarian, and more vegetarian. But now my cousin is doing marathons, he's running. And I thought, wow. So he just, when he mentioned Serbia, I thought, He didn't mention the name of the company, but then I went back online to do some research. And then I contacted the agent that I was speaking to in 2019. And yeah, that's when I decided to make the appointment, because I thought, this money, I was thinking I need to invest it. I want to go into real estate, property. But then I thought it's more important to invest in myself, not looking to make money from property, real estate. I'll invest in myself first, and then I'll look into property later. And that's when I decided to make the appointment for Swiss Medica.
So did I understand you correct that you were not looking into any other clinics apart from this one, just because you've heard from your cousin, right, about his good experience?
I heard from the customer, and they gave me the testimony that, oh, their cousin had an experience with this company in Serbia. He didn't give the name, he just said Serbia. And that's why I went online again, and then I contacted the agent I was speaking to in 2019. And and that's why I decided to make the appointment.
I wonder if you have mentioned to your treating doctor, to the neurologist, that you're going to do the stem cells. You have. What kind of feedback have you received?
Well, I spoke to 2 different surgeons, one from the NHS, and then they said no, a big no, red flag, no. I said, okay, no, because people have done it and they died. And I'm like, oh, yeah, people died. I'm like, what do you mean people died? And then I spoke to the private healthcare surgeon, and that person said, they were honest with me. They said, well, there's one called HSCT, and the company will use chemotherapy, shut down your immune system. After chemotherapy, then stem cells will rebuild everything back, but it's 50-50. But if you try to do it on private healthcare, if you try to do it on the NHS, you have to be on the waiting list maybe 1 year or 2 years, and after they've seen you're using other medicine and it's not working, that's when you go on the waiting list. I thought, oh,
it's a long process.
I'm just a NHS number. Okay, what if I want to do it for myself? Oh, yeah, it can be up to £90,000. I didn't laugh in front of him. Inside, I was laughing like, where am I going to? If I had 90, you make it sound like I've got £90,000 under my pillow and I can just take the money from the pillow. Okay, thank you. You've been very helpful. So when I've done some more research, what they were talking about, HSCT, where they use chemotherapy to shut down your immune system, and then they'll use stem cells. But I feel like with Swiss Medica, it doesn't involve chemotherapy. So I didn't want to, I've heard of things where people, sadly, that have been diagnosed with cancer, they do have to use chemotherapy and then take it from there. But yeah, and then later I found out that NHS will only use chemotherapy and HSCT if you've got blood cancer. So, but that doesn't apply to me. So yeah, that's why I thought it's better to maybe go for a company that doesn't use chemotherapy.
And privately,
yeah.
I see. Before coming to our clinic, have you had any fears? And if you have, share them with other people, because almost everybody has. And what helped you to overcome those fears?
Yeah, I had some fears where I told my siblings, my precious, lovely brother, he said, yep, he will come with me. Because I've heard so much on social media where somebody goes to a country to do something. Somebody went to, I don't remember the country, they went to remove the gallbladder or something. And instead the company removed the kidney as well, and they removed something else. And I thought, oh, I come for treatment. I don't need a company to remove something else. Please, God, something else should not be removed. So yeah, luckily my brother said, he'll come with me, and then he'll come after a couple of days. But then, afterwards I said, no, it's okay, you don't need to come. I'm going to message you every day. On the day that I don't message you, something has happened. then come. God forbid, nothing happened, and yeah.
And at which point have you understood that you're in a safe place, in safe hands? Or you still hesitate?
No, because I saw the customer at work, and that told me their cousin was, doing marathons, and I thought, well, if this random stranger's cousin is still alive, then hopefully. And then I was calling my brother and my sister. I gave them the password for my email, my online internet banking. I gave them the password that, God forbid, if something happens, this is how much money I have in the account. This is the password. Share the money amongst yourselves. I might not come back just in case, but yeah. And then he's messaging me every morning that, are you still alive? Yeah, I'm still alive. But yeah, I know it's not funny, but yeah, that's what my siblings.
I think you would look at this adventure, I would call it medical adventure, one day in your life, and you will, you will sit down at one table and laugh all together.
Yeah, hopefully, because like someone said,
we could easily have been a scam. This is the world, unfortunately, nowadays. It is cruel. Yeah, but hopefully you realize that you're in a safe place, that everybody cares about you, and we promise to your siblings that you're gonna come back home.
I mean, I told my siblings, whatever happens, happens. So I love you very much, but it's guaranteed in this world we will all pay tax, unless you know how to go to a tax haven and avoid paying tax. We will all die, we will all pay tax. I don't know when is my time, but if something happens, take the money from the account, because I don't want it to go to the government again. So yeah, I'm glad that it turned out well.
I think now when you come back, you'll have to change your password.
Yeah, hopefully.
So, and the treatment itself, is it as complicated or as easy as you imagine? Were they painful days? Were they easy days? A little bit about the treatment and the medical staff in general. If you want to mention a couple of words about the physio team, the nurses, the doctors.
The physio team are really helpful and understanding. They take everything at your pace, so it's not rush. The only thing I don't like is, from when I was a young girl, I've always been scared of needles, but apart from that, I know it's necessary. So apart from that, no, it's not been difficult or painful, no.
Is there anything else you would like to mention about your experience with our clinic here in Serbia that maybe I forgot to ask?
There's not, I mean, with the questions I was asked about, oh, do you have any allergies? Do you have any, you know, I mentioned from the beginning, please, I don't want mayonnaise, and the team were very understanding and they gave me other alternatives. So whether it's breakfast, lunch or dinner, there are always alternatives where if you have an allergy or intolerance, there'll be something to cater to your needs. So yeah.
Yeah, we always take into considerations food restrictions and allergies, it's true. Especially when we have kids over here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they are very fussy. Right. Just maybe a couple of words, like when you come home after 2-3 months, hopefully you'll start feeling some changes, you'll feel some power. Like which aspects of your life would you like to be improved? Like you've got some thoughts, you've got some expectations, of course.
I'm very fussy when it comes to shopping. I like to see with my brown eyes what I'm buying. I like to touch it with my hands. If it's bread back home, they put the one that's going to expire in front, the one that's going to not expire quickly at the back. I like to take the one at the back, bread or fruit. So when this all started, you know, I'm shopping online. I'm not a big fan of shopping online. Even when I'm buying things on food, groceries, I'm telling the delivery man or woman, please bring it upstairs. I live on the 2nd floor. I have mobility problem. There is no lift, but please bring it upstairs. So yeah, but now what I'm looking forward to, what I'm praying for, is to have the mobility back. So to use my own legs to walk and buy something rather than shopping online, yeah.
Basic human needs, right?
Yeah,
Mobility,
definitely.
yeah. Thank you so much for letting us ask you these questions and agreeing answering them. Thank you.
Thank you.